Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. I'm Nick Park, taking us through a series of messages on the books of the Old Testament, and we're seeing how Jesus is the theme of every one of those books. Great variety in the Old Testament, many different types of literature. There's history, there's a songbook, there's proverbs, there's poems, there's prophecies, there's laws, and yet all of it is about Jesus. And we've now reached the book of Amos. And the word Amos, his name means one who bears burdens. So straight away he speaks to us about the great burden bearer. Because of all the burdens that anyone has ever borne, there was never a burden like the weight of our sin laid upon the shoulders of Jesus when he was hanging on the cross. And so straight away, Amos's very name speaks to us about Jesus. Amos was not one of the religious elite. He was an outsider. He came from Tekoa, which was not like a great center of prophets. He was not a respected student from the schools of the prophets that Elijah and Elisha set up, for example. He said, I'm not a prophet. He said, I'm not a prophet's son. In fact, in Amos chapter 7, he says, I'm just a son of a shepherd. And he came across a border because the nation of Israel had been split into two, going way back to the time of Solomon's son Rehoboam. And the nation of Israel split into the southern kingdom of Judah, with its headquarters, its capital city in Jerusalem. And there was the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, and also the Levites who ministered in the temple. And then the rest of it, the other 10 tribes, they were up in the northern kingdom of Israel, and their capital city was in Samaria, not Jerusalem. And there was often ill feeling and often wars between these two kingdoms. And yet Tekoa, where Amos came from, it was in the southern kingdom. But God sent him as a prophet to the northern kingdom. And so he was in very, very many ways an outsider. You know, don't wait for God to use the perfect person to declare his word. We can look at things in our lives and think, well, that disqualifies me. I'm not the right person. It would be so much easier if I was wealthy. It would be so much easier if I was good looking. It would be so much easier if I had more experience, if I had more resources, if I had more titles or more letters after my name. Some people even make up letters and fake doctorates and all kinds of stuff to try and bolster themselves. But we don't actually need any of that stuff because God uses the outsider. And he used Amos as an outsider. And you know, in that, Amos was himself a picture of Jesus Christ, because Jesus himself, although he was born in Bethlehem, he was brought up in Galilee. And that's why, people said, can anything good come out of Galilee? Galilee was up in the old northern kingdom. It wasn't where the real purebred elite Jews came from. And so Jesus came from Galilee. And as Amos had gone from the southern kingdom to the northern kingdom, Jesus went from the old northern kingdom down into the southern kingdom and declared the word of God, not just in Galilee, but to the people in Jerusalem and even the religious elite. Because Jesus, like Amos, was an outsider. But God used him like he'd never used anyone ever before. Amos said they sell the righteous for silver in Amos chapter 2 verse 6, and many Bible scholars would see that as a reference to Judas selling Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. But whether that's true or not, there's no doubt that Jesus is the great burden bearer, our real Amos, of whom the first Amos was only a foreshadowing, the outsider who bore our burdens. Thank God for Jesus, our burden bearer. God bless you today, and join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.